Hold on, man. People ask me to record. I say yes, then I forget. So, okay, good. And so today I learned about an ecosystem. I learned about a family of companies, and I learned about an attitude and an energy and a demeanor that really only has one possibility, and that's to create success. And I'd already been learning about the real primary topic of our conversation this evening, that being the possibility to leverage AI. I've had a number of remarkable experiences in my career, and over the course of those experiences, I've had the chance to be a part and a parcel of companies that have gone from small to big, companies that have changed industries. But I've never really been a part of a concept that changed an entire global economy. I've been a part of a concept that have changed companies, and I've been a part of a concept that have changed local cultures. But I've never been a part of a company, a part of a concept that was literally revolutionizing the world. I go back to the day when I remember when the first Apple Macintosh computers came out, and those first K Pro computers, and of course, most of us didn't take it too seriously back then. What a mistake that was. Had one been able to properly imagine, when I said had one, some did. Their names are Bill Gates and their names are Stephen Jobs, rest in peace, and Tim Cook. Some people could see in advance what the rest of us could not see. They could see that the world was going to become linked together through technology, and it was going to become a digital world as opposed to an analog world, and the computers were the future. I was there for it. I didn't benefit from it. I didn't cause it to happen, and therefore did not get paid for that which later occurred. I think of the advent of the internet. I remember the very first slowest dial-up modems, and I wonder how might our lives have changed if some of us who saw it coming said, "This is what the future is." Folks, we now introduce to you the possibility of properly leveraging AI, AI being what? Artificial. And I think about that, artificial. It's as real as anything else I've seen. It simply means made by man, artificial intelligence, as opposed to intelligence created by God. And it's very, very evident to me that a similar transition, such as the transition that occurred when the world went from non-being not computerization to fully computerized, when the world went from not connected online to being online, the tide has already turned. It is happening as we speak. The world is becoming a world that will be dominated by artificial intelligence, and those people who learn how to leverage it will benefit therefrom. And those who do not learn how to leverage it may very well be less happy about what those outcomes are. And by the way, there may be some of you here who, like me, feel like you've been walking through the desert of entrepreneurship for the last few years. I'm telling you, since the COVID mask mandates came along, but everything changed. The separation, the ways that our economies globally are distributing money, wealth today has never been so inequitable in my entire life. We have a chance now to bring that cash flow back to the hands of the local small mom and pop businessman, to the entrepreneur, to the individuals, because together we can leverage AI. Now, at the very outset, because I knew that Mr. LaCour and the ecosystem would not be included in the slideshow, I talked about that in advance. I'll chat with Blake and I will chat with Terry. And my guess is that sometime in the future that'll be included. Now it is with great. I mean, I don't like the word pride, but I'm proud of my son. I'm proud of my family. It's with great pride that I introduce Blake. My son Blake has just been named the president of what I believe will be one of the most important technology initiatives in the United States and the world in the coming season. Blake is a skilled veteran of a variety of different types of businesses, and he brings values here that are difficult to find. First of all, he was raised in the home of one of the most successful network marketers in the world. And so while there are so many people who have doubts, fears, and insecurities, Blake has seen from every imaginable way. He's seen in with clarity what the industry can be when it is done right. And he's seen the challenges that come when it's not done right. Blake is an attorney, and he became general counsel or associate general counsel for a large successful direct selling company that was Monavit. He then moved to Israel and ran their Israeli operations for a period as general manager. Then, being fluent in Portuguese, he became the manager of Europe, living in Portugal, then Brazil, and all of Latin America under his stead at a time when the company was enormous. Blake later became the CEO of Medical Marijuana Incorporated at a time when the end of the prohibition of cannabis was a hot topic, wasn't it? It was a hot topic. But when we consider the end of the prohibition of cannabis, and Blake and I participated in that, and in fact, in some ways provoked it, the rewards were phenomenal. But consider the end of the prohibition of cannabis in context to the advent of AI beginning to take over the way that the world interacts one with another, much like computerization did, much like the internet did. You see, the end of the prohibition of cannabis was nothing like that. But the similarity was that when we started talking about it, because a part of my life experience is I happen to be in recovery from alcoholism and drug addiction. And I've been safely removed from those problems for a long time. And it's a good part of my life now. But I wasn't talking about cannabis because I simply viewed it as a drug. That idea being born of ignorance, I wasn't talking about it. When Blake became the CEO of that company and I wanted to work with him, I started talking about it. And what I found out was that I was joining a conversation that was ongoing. I was not provoking a conversation. I want to say it again. I got to join, I entered, I walked into an ongoing conversation as opposed to trying to provoke one. There are countless, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people who can enter a conversation that is ongoing comfortably, but who don't have the personality to provoke one. Don't underestimate the power of the moment during this time right now when the advent of AI is just beginning. This is the moment when countless people who would otherwise be frozen in fear, unwilling to act in such a way to create success, now they can. Well, I welcome my son Blake to this capacity. I welcome him with knowledge and confidence that each of you will learn to trust, respect, and admire, and be grateful for his leadership of the company. The things that we'll talk about this evening, man, I'm 8 minutes in. I got to move on here. This is it, folks. AI is the future. We'll talk about the Lev AI. What does that mean? To leverage artificial intelligence, leverage, positive leverage, not financial leverage, borrowing money to buy an asset. If the asset goes up in value, that's tremendous. We love that leverage. If the asset goes down in value and get wiped out quickly. No, we're talking about leveraging the time, the effort, the energy of other people. We're talking about leveraging our own knowledge in a completely different way. Why? Because it can finally be packaged and delivered 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, in any language in the world. Leveraging AI, and that is our solution. We'll describe the features and plans. We'll describe just a tiny bit, not much tonight, about the earnings with Lev AI and talk about how you get your spot. When I said that I was joining a conversation that was going on, I'm not just talking about conversations around the water cooler. I'm not just talking about people, standing in the restroom line. No, no, no. This from Sundar Pichai, who is the CEO of Google. And according to Mr. Pichai, AI is more profound than fire or electricity or anything we've done in the past. Well, if you buy into that idea, which I do, AI is more profound than fire or electricity or anything we've done in the past. Well, if you buy into that, then that means that whatever your greatest accomplishment has been in the past can be exceeded here because it is more profound. That will require that we gather more knowledge, develop new skills, and perhaps refine character attributes. But if it is more profound than anything we've done in the past, that means the opportunity for our greatest success to be in the future is here. And I love this. I don't know Misha Kaufman, I'd like to meet him one day, the CEO of Fiverr. And he says that people using AI will displace those who are not. I like positive references more than those fearful ones. And so I reframe that. Let us be among those who teach other people how to use AI such that they will not get displaced and such that their value in the marketplace increases. And then I would take it again. If you don't sharpen your knives, you're going to be left behind. I framed that the other way. I started sharpening my knife a little while ago. I'm sharpening it right now. I hope you're sharpening yours. Why? So that I can show other people how to do likewise so that they don't get left behind. Thank you, Mr. Kaufman. And now from Dr. Peter DeWitt. AI offers a powerful means to assist leaders to de-implement low and no value practices. And let's stop there for a second. Over the course of my career, I've come to understand that in my particular business, and by the way, this is a tool that you can use to grow your business, whatever it is. I think that one of my favorite movies of all time is Pretty Woman. Richard Gere and Julia Roberts, and the opening and the closing scene, there's a gentleman walking up or down Rodeo Drive, and he poses the question, what is your dream? Well, if you have a dream, if your dream is to break into the real estate industry in your marketplace and to become the most powerful broker in the market, we believe that we can help you live your dream. Now, what is your dream? You want to be a healer. You want to help people. Well, we believe that we can help you become the provider of choice, whatever product service you offer. Let us all remember that there are other people who do what we do. There are other people who might do it better than we do it. And there might even be other people who do it at some economic advantage that we don't have. So you see, we need to find some way to separate ourselves to become the preferred vendor. Well, what is your dream? If we have one, then open your eyes wide, listen carefully, because we'll show you how to utilize this technology, utilize your dream. Now, on the other hand, I know there are many, many, many people. I was one of them for a long time in my life who I did what I did, not because I loved it, not because it gave me joy, not because it dilated my soul. No, because it was paying the bill. Here we have an opportunity. You can choose to utilize this technology to live and realize your dream. And that will become clear as we go on. You can also choose, like me, to become a conduit to other people's use of the technology and thereby earn royalties. Well, in so doing, there will be four simple skills required. The first skill, learning how to live our lives in such a way that our candidate list grows in front of us. And that is another way of saying growing relationships. And what does Dr. DeWitt say? Freeing time for human interconnectedness. Next, and by the way, I was taught early in my career, a guy named Nathan Ricks, a person that I respect, admire. I loved him actually, and I regret that he passed a couple of years ago. But Nathan taught me that the ability to grow the business would be tied to my ability to connect with other people. He said, if other people want to be in business with you, they want to be in association with you, then the pressure will be off the invitation because they want to be in business with you and they'll be patient with where your faulted, halting words. If they want to be in business with you because of that human interconnectedness, then they will look past what might be less than stellar presentation. It is all about growing closer together instead of a world that has grown farther apart. This will free time for human interconnectedness and will have values measured in so many ways that are not simply tied to whatever happens to be in your bank account or your investment portfolio. AI shouldn't be feared, it should be harnessed. Some important facts here. 61% of professional marketers use AI already. But you know what they use? They use a fragmented group of tool suites. They use a convoluted, complicated, somewhat difficult to understand portfolio of services. We at Lev AI, leveraging this AI. We now bring to market a one-stop shop. It's going to go soon from 61% of marketers to a much larger percentage, using it in a much larger percentage of their business. 38% of those who, a 38% increase in sales productivity is what is currently being experienced on average. We think we're going to change that a lot because we're going to a one-stop shop, and you're going to see as we go forward. By the way, talking about not very long, talking about a number of days until this company is live. We'll no longer be talking about concepts and principles. We'll talk about realities. And I believe that these proofs are not going to be long in the making. 80% of entrepreneurs say AI gives them a competitive edge. 80% of AI say it gives a competitive edge among those who use it. The fact is that countless, countless, countless others will see the simplicity. They'll no longer be frozen behind the complexity of so much that is in the AI world today and will embrace this principle to the benefit of those who were the introductory factor. Lev AI, leveraging AI, makes it simple for entrepreneurs to launch, market, and grow businesses. Why am I so happy? You can tell I am, can't you? It's not hard to tell because I've spent my life doing what? Launching, marketing, and growing businesses. And I have always been limited by the fact that as you are the catalyst ingredient in your recipe. I am the catalyst ingredient in my recipe. If we have all the ingredients for a loaf of bread, but we don't have yeast, that's the catalyst ingredient, the loaf will not rise. And so you see, the catalyst ingredient in your business, it's you. The catalyst ingredient in my business, in my life, is me. Unfortunately, I only speak English. That's all. Unfortunately, I only have so many hours per day where I can express that catalyst nature of my personality and my ventures. You'll learn today about an opportunity to literally clone yourself in a digital twin and to make available all of your life's experiences, to make available all of the uniquenesses that makes you you, that makes you pop, that makes you stand out. You're going to learn how to do it with no expensive CMO, agency, or complicated tech skills required. Let AI is the companion for all things you need in your business, made easier and better. And again, I can hardly stop myself from just big, broad smiles. Each of you, I wish so much had had the opportunity to participate in my day today. Had you been in my day today, then you'd have said, "You're right, Randy. That is number 8. If you've had 7 up until now, and if you'd had 8, that would have been number 9. I want to help each one of you have your first, your second, your third, your fourth magical breakthrough day. The mission: empower the foundation of tomorrow's economy to build professional grade businesses with seamless AI powered tools." And I love it's a picture of youth. There's youth, energetic youth, the future. This is about the future. And those of us who have spent our lives in preparation, knowing not that for which we were preparing, I think there's a reasonable chance that for many of us, we have been preparing, as Esther said, that for all we know, we have spent our lives preparing for a moment such as this. That is the way that I feel. So many problems that Lev AI solves. Social entrepreneurs are faced with a complex myriad of tools required to access all that AI promises and proposes. Complex, costly, and fragmented marketing tools, tech intimidation and burnout, and then this poor lead generation and customer retention. Over the course of my career, I've had so many times, I can't count them, the number of times people have said, Randy, can you teach me how to enroll new members? Sure. Nobody ever says, can you teach me how to keep the ones I've got? Folks, it's when every existing member or customer or client or user of our service, whatever it is that we do, it's when they feel as special to us as they felt when they were our most important candidate. That's hard to do given that we have such limited time. We have such limited time. You will shortly learn how to stay in absolute, complete, constant contact, never ending contact, supporting, encouraging, being present even though the number of hours in the day are not more, your ability to leverage those hours goes up. And I think of lead generation because in my life, that's never been a specific need. As it works out, I'm one of those guys that I don't have a difficult time walking into a room and finding a friend in that room in a matter of minutes. And by the way, people have said, "Well, I don't want to do business with my friends." So why? Don't you like your business? What I do is I make friends first, and then I do business with my friends. That's the way that it's always been, and it's not hard for me. But because that's hard, not hard for me, I didn't recognize that not all people's personalities are the same, and that for some, that in fact is very, very difficult as a result of my not having the personal need and not being able to see past my own selfish, self-centered personality, which is the human condition. I never became skillful at helping other people generate leads. Happily enough, Lev AI solves that problem for me and for you right now. You're going to learn about that. Lev AI makes building and maintaining a candidate or customer list far easier. Many years ago, it was Nathan who taught me that there were four revenue producing activities and there were four associated skills. And I value completely everything that he taught me. But one area where I would today differ, I referenced on a moment ago, he taught me the single most important thing was to do what he called mastering the art of the invitation, such that my candidate would open their eyes, their ears, and their hearts to possibility, whatever the possibility was. There are four revenue producing activities. I've come to believe that the first one is most important, and that is learning to live our lives. And now I'm going to add to that learning to live our lives and learning how to successfully integrate into our lives the correctly created, packaged, and prepared AI solution to make building and maintaining a candidate list an automatic. You see, if our candidate wants to be in business with us, they then have patience with the other required skills and activities, that being the invitation, the presentation, and the new member orientation. When the candidate wants to be in business with us, that's what's most important. Lev AI is going to let everyone start at that position much more quickly and allow many to start at that position immediately, depending on what. We can't start from where we're not. We start from where we are. And so it's not the truth that everyone will get the exact same outcome utilizing a new tool immediately. Some people will be more properly prepared to use that tool. It is true that one has learned how to properly utilize the tool, then he or she will get the leverage, and that will make building and maintaining a candidate and customer list easier. Notice it says easier, not easy. Create confidence about what to say to each candidate. For me, the truth is that I seem to have this never-ending supply of words. I joke with my wife about it. Someday, one day, I'm going to open my mouth and I will have used my quota. My words are gone. But having done what I've done for my entire life, and I haven't yet run out of words, I I can anticipate the question before it comes because so many of the conversations have been leading the same way for so many years. And in fact, being able to anticipate the question means that the question frequently never arises because I inoculate it before it comes. How magic would it be if everyone had that experience instead of only those who've spent 3.5 decades refining that skill? Wouldn't it be incredible if everyone had the possibility because they have you, your leader, their coach, or me, literally in their hip pocket? What if every person had their own personalized version of a chat GPT? What if each person had a literally virtual clone that had been loaded with all of the content necessary to succeed the ways that you want to succeed in life? What if every person was really never truly by themselves again? They had their coach, their mentor at their fingertips, at their behest every moment. The number of people who can and will succeed, the percentage is so dramatically different. This is not a subtle shift, folks. This is an epic change. This is not a continuation or extension of our careers. This is an inflection point. It's about doing something substantially different, and it will remove barriers that make you feel stuck. It will keep you in front of your customers, your candidates, your clients, your team members to maximize productivity. Folks, it says removes the fear of failure. How do you remove the fear of failure? By not failing. That's just that simple. When we are guiding a candidate through a proven, predictable pattern of activities, utilizing the most remarkable tool suite that you have seen interacted with yet, that gradually helps a client or a proposed client arrive at his or her point of logical conclusion. There's no more such thing as failure. We help each person arrive at the conclusion that is right for them. Everything is a success when we stop contemplating, considering what's in it for me. If I'm thinking about what's in it for me, the answer is going to be not much, not much. When instead I think about what's in it for you. And so you see, I'm not trying to close anybody. I'm trying to help each person arrive at what is the correct decision for themselves. By doing so, we completely eliminate the fear of failure because there is no more failure, and we build consistent momentum. Lots of solutions here, folks, wrapped up in one package. And the solutions are social media presence and consistency, customer relationship management or CRM, instant AI built websites. Going to come to that in a second. Reminders to build and provoke correct behavior. Remember, there are no new mistakes. There are new people making old mistakes, and there are old people making old mistakes. It is simply about finding a path. What I've discovered is that I live in the mountains of Utah, and sometimes we have deep, deep snow. I I observe that deer seem to be more intuitive, maybe more intelligent than humans. You say, why? Well, because if there's 3 feet of fresh snow outside and one deer is walking through the snow, the second deer will be exactly in the path of the first, realizing that being 6 inches off the track is the same as if there was no track. They follow, they find a leader who's accomplishing what they want, and they do that. Humans, they bounce all over the lot. What you will find here is a daily reminder, constantly drawing you back to the path, constantly drawing you back to the line of the snow, as I've described, or in my case, I've flown airplanes and I'm an instrument rated pilot, and I'm always constantly course correcting, getting closer to the center line, to the center line, to the center line, always staying at the minimum en route altitude, staying above the rocks. Reminders, just like an air route traffic control center, telling you, here's your next step, here's your next step, here's your next step. And here, my gosh, a monthly leads program. I'm going to come back in a second. That one deserves some emphasis. Social media presence and consistency. In this group of people right now, in this session right now, I would venture a guess that 50% of these, by the way, we have 173 souls on here with us right now. And I would venture a guess that 50% of them have 1,000 Facebook friends or fewer. The only ones who have more than that are people who made a decision to have more somewhere along the way. My guess is that most of the people on this session, though many of you are direct selling or other professionals, most of you have fewer than 5,000 LinkedIn friends, LinkedIn contacts. Over the course of my career, what I've done is gradually build a small social media presence. And I now see the folly of that. It should have been intentional, and it should be a big social media presence. There should be millions, not thousands. There should be. And we can help you play catch up really quick by turning your virtual twin and by turning your own individual chat GPT loose into your contact base, turning them loose into your CRM and having them do social media scans of each of them. And in so doing, that begins provoking the like, the comment, the post. And each time you make a post and someone likes or comments, it now teaches you what is your next interaction. What do you say? Just push send, push send, push send. And in so doing, begin to build your social media presence. CRM, customer relationship management. This is one of the reasons, well, there are so many reasons that I'm so highly enthusiastic about this, but one is because it will actually have a net negative cost for many. If you're already using a CRM, you may be spending three, four, $500 a month, maybe more, on a customer relationship management tool. The likelihood is great that you'll be able to eliminate that tool, completely replace it with Live AI. And in so doing, now you've got an inside the suite CRM tool, which immediately looks at the social media profiles of each person you put into that CRM, and it tells you what to do, when to do it, how and why. You see, this is not simply a crutch that one uses because they don't have the skill. This is a crutch that allows one to become profitable in advance of knowledge and skill development. I want to say that again. Over the course of my entire career, people have had to gather knowledge and develop skills in advance of profitability. here utilizing this remarkable suite of AI tools. I believe that we will grant people the opportunity to become profitable in advance of knowledge and skill development. But every single time they act upon the AI prompt, you know what it's doing? It is creating the knowledge and it is provoking the skill. Cicero said so many years ago, the skill to do comes from the doing. Over the course of my career, I've never had a single person do all that which is required to succeed but do it poorly and therefore fail. Never. I've never had a person do all that is required to succeed, but do it poorly and therefore fail. What I've had instead are countless people who have simply not done that which was required to succeed. Why? A lack of knowledge, a lack of confidence, a lack of belief, or outright fear. What we propose to do is change that immediately by granting you a group of candidates who are gravitating towards you. A candidate walking towards you wanting to know more information will be easy for you to meet as opposed to walking towards them to provoke the conversation. Build websites. I'm not now just talking about our, in every direct selling company, we all have our self-replicating sites that all look the exact same. It's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about your own individual site. When I met with the developers a few weeks ago and they were showing me the parameters, I was blown away and my head was spinning. And I said, "You want to build a website?" I said, "I'd love to learn how to build a website, but I can hardly turn on an iPhone." And in the next 3 minutes, I built a website. Click, 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 click. And suddenly it wasn't just built, but it was published. And you know what? You can do that too. And so can everyone. We create value that once again makes it almost seem ridiculous to not be a utilizer of the service because you're replacing a CRM, not spending money on building websites. There's so many things that you can do as a result of simply learning how to utilize that tool. A shovel is a tool and a backhoe is a tool, but you can dig a ditch a lot faster with a backhoe. What we propose to do is take the shovel out of your hands and seat you in a backhoe so that you can accomplish so much more quickly. And then what we seek to do is teach you how to teach others to do likewise. I talked about the idea of utilizing the tool not simply as a crutch because I'm injured, but no, using it as a crutch to allow me to gain profitability in advance of skill development. Wow, what a magic thought that is. But then we want to develop the skill and gather the knowledge. So I imagine now for a moment that I've done a new member orientation with any of you yesterday. And in that new member orientation, I've talked about the revenue producing activities and I've talked about my own onboarding process. The way that I help a new member get started is I'm sure that you've got one. But now I want you all to imagine that the next day, that newest person who just went through the new member orientation, they receive a prompt. You had 4 assignments yesterday. Have you completed this one? If not, here is your next step. They are receiving that, and I'm also receiving it. Randy did the member orientation yesterday with Sally. She has 4 assignments. Only one of them has been received. Push send right here. Click, click, click. Reminders to build the business, step by step by step by step. There is no luck. There is no guesswork. If we do A, we get B. If we do C, we get D. A proved and predictable pattern of activities. What we need, what many people need who have not yet become task driven, who have not yet developed the discipline of doing A to get B, to get C, to get D, a gradual, gentle massaging people closer and closer once again to that lead generation or to that center line. And now I talk about the leads. Uh, Network marketing, direct selling. This is a curious business has the unique ability to provoke feelings of profound insecurity among even the most secure people. Hi, I'm Randy Schrader. I'm an attorney. How easy was that? Hi, I'm Randy Schrader. I'm a doctor. Gosh, that was simple. Hi, I'm Randy Schrader. I build buildings. Hi, I'm Randy Schrader. I'm a school teacher. I'm a police officer. All those things are easy. Society's decided those things are good. Hi, I'm Randy Schrader. I'm a network marketing distributor. A lot of people can't even get those words out of their mouth. I want you to know I do it on purpose. I got involved first in the industry because it was what was available to me. I've stayed involved, and so many years have gone by, and so much is available to me. I've stayed involved. Why? Because I believe to the center of my being that the fundamental principles governing the direct selling industry are superior to those which govern the conventional business world. That's what I believe all the way to my core. But because so few people believe that, there are too few people who are given the opportunity to opt in or opt out. Why? Because they're frozen behind fear. Think of all the people you've enrolled over the years who just never did enough to get comfortable with that. Why? Frozen behind fear. What if their first 25 contacts each month were a generated lead that was someone asking for more information? And what if you got to choose, or that new individual got to choose from whence came the lead? Are they trying to build locally, domestically, internationally? What age do they want? What gender? What skill level? Is it not obvious it would be so much easier to respond to someone who said, I want to know more, than it would be to ask someone, would you like to know more? The answer is yes. And then you see Cicero be born out again when he said, the skill to do will come from the doing. I've always shied away from lead generation. Why? Because if a person pays for a lead and it's not great, then they can be resentful. But what if there's no added cost for it? Then it is only upside. I think of this 35-year career of mine, I believe that the ultimate outcome would have been at least a 10x, maybe a 100, if every person had been able to develop the skill, gather the knowledge, and therefore overcome the doubts, fears, and insecurities about the method of distribution as a result of having someone to talk to who wanted to talk to them. Can't overstate it. And there's more. Every plan includes your own AI twin. And folks, when you see it, you will be blown away. And the question, of course, is posed, but Randy, when will I get to see it? All I will tell you is it is a very, very short days until this will be fully operational. It is fewer days than you are anticipating. Blake said on a couple of days ago call that it was a 2 to 6 week time window, a 2 to 6 week time window. Well, 2 weeks, 2 days have gone by out of that 2 to 6 weeks. And I will tell you, after my conversations today, after having spent time in the ecosystem, it's going to be much closer to the 2 than 2 to 6 weeks. And you will shortly have your own AI twin. And that AI twin will look and sound exactly like you, no matter what language it is speaking. And it can have loaded into it all of your life's experiences and content. You can also borrow life's experiences and content from other people, give it a script, or ask it to create its own, and it can speak 150 languages fluently. Now, folks, we are moving. It's a moving target, as you know. The target is not moving as much anymore. I can tell you today that we will return to 3 plans over the course of the last couple of, well, not even that's today's day 6 or 7. So on day number 1, we talked about 3 plans. Yesterday, we started talking about 2. I can tell you that sometime the next day or 2, we'll open the slideshow and there will again be 3 plans with some added services, one more middle ground plan. Let's just very quickly describe the benefits, the features. Your own AI video twin, your likeness, your voice, speaking your script flawlessly in 150 languages. And if you don't know the script, you can ask it to generate it. A personalized GPT, 800 million people. Can you believe that? Chat GPT today or somewhere in the world. You are going to have your own personalized GPT to write posts, to write emails, to learn your style and written voice, to create copy in an instant. Folks, that by itself is worth so much more than anything that we're going to charge for this service. Business profiles. If you have multiple outreaches, I have a friend, Andy, that's on this session. Andy's in the construction business, and he's an entrepreneur outside of that. The messages are very, very different. He needs more than one profile or personality on that virtual twin. And so for Andy, the pro pack would be more appropriate than the basic. AI powered social growth and engagement. Once again, import your candidate list into the CRM, and just like that, your GPT is going to go and find out everything there is to know about each candidate and tell you what to say to them, how, and why. Instant web builder, we've talked about that, and enhanced CRM with professional lead funnels. Once again, looking past the fact now, the mistake that I've made in my career of assuming that because it's always been relatively easy for me to have a candidate list growing in front of me. I've never struggled with that, not ever, not my whole career. I failed to realize that that was because of my particular personality, and I should have been more resolute in creating strategies that would help people without that same personality. But here we have it, an enhanced CRM that will create lead funnels, searchable prospects, over 2 billion global profiles that you'll get to based on which package you buy. That will determine the number of contacts or leads you get on a monthly basis, and you will get to determine what that candidate is going to look like. Mentor your team, coach and share, and curate your library. Folks, unbelievable value. I personally think the Lev AI replaces more than $800 in disconnected, hard to use subscriptions, becoming an all in one. And by the way, you are not going to find anything that is anywhere remotely close to this pricing of this option that actually has every person receiving that virtual twin. And I promise you, even you, the subject of the digital cloning, will not be able to tell the difference on a first glance. You'd have to study very carefully and still may not be able to ascertain, is it live or is it Memorex? And that will ultimately be available even in conversational ways, an interactive tool for those who operate at the highest level of the business. You can't get anywhere close to what this company offers for the prices that are being contemplated. Market opportunity, folks. This is a big idea for me. I want to no longer be limited to the tiny segment of our society that has embraced direct selling. 3%, 4%, maybe 5 in the most optimistic day. I want to break instead into that $556 billion gig economy that, as you can see, is projected to quadruple in the next 8 years. 70 million freelancers in the United States, 30 million non-employer businesses. These are the people who want and need our product. These are the people who are talking about AI right now. They're just not talking to you. Let it be that you become the person they talk to as a result of engaging yourself in this process, and we'll pay you to do it. Compensation plan, broad framework tonight. Now, I will tell you that the compensation plan is now locked. As we've been saying for the last few days, there was wiggle room in the comp plan. Final decisions were made today about the comp plan, and it is now locked. I can tell you, for those who have been on the various sessions, that the only real change, in fact, the only change, the only change from what you've seen in the numbers, is that in the matching bonus, we've talked about a 5% four generation match. The modeling showed that overcooked just a little bit. And so the matching bonus is a 4% four generation match. And remember that that is based upon all comp plan components. The concepts are very simple. Generous acquisition bonuses. Why? The things the comp plan must do is provoke the correct behavior. What is the first behavior? It is to recruit new members. Periodically, I have people say, well, Randy, is training more important as recruiting? Well, we don't have a way to train unless we recruit somebody. And what I find is that people don't do what they're taught to do. People don't do what they're asked to do. People do what they're paid to do. And so very, very generous acquisition bonuses, 50%, ongoing monthly commissions on those you personally enrolled of 20%, plus 8 levels of dynamic compression. And there's even a topic out there today that some people refer to as horizontal compression. There's dynamic compression, there's horizontal compression. What does that mean? In this particular comp plan, an 8-generation unilevel, to meet the current need of influencers and so on, there must be a lot of upfront money on that Gen 1. By the way, this is a 100% cash-based compensation plan. And so when I say it's a cash-based compensation plan, that means no SV, CV, BV, all that stuff, everything based on cash. And so since you're used to spending $1,000 to get 700 volume points, and then you get the percentage of the volume points, remember this is cash-based. And so each one of these percentages in your mind, let them ratchet up a little bit. Acquisition bonuses based on cash, that first generation based on cash, and then 8 levels of 4% with dynamic compression, meaning that if someone does not qualify, it compresses up. But also, it's not typical on that 20%. It is not typical if you had a non-active Gen 1. It is not typical for Gen 2 to roll up and receive the 20%. Most frequently, that is referred to as a sponsoring bonus to create breakage to not allow that to be paid. This compresses up into the 20%. And then a check match on 4 levels of your enrollment tree. Talked about, well, in this case, also some uniquenesses. Even though a direct sales commission is paid, all of the volume still goes into the tree. And that's why you receive a 30% acquisition bonus plus 20% first month commission. Anything I've ever been a part of, the direct sales bonus or acquisition bonus eliminates first month commission on that same volume. Here you're receiving acquisition bonus and first month commission, and that's what totals the 50% total. And then, of course, what happens next? Roll up as I've described, the ongoing commission of 20% to Gen 1. And if Gen 1 is not active, Gen 2 rolls up to Gen 1, that then becomes 20%. 8 levels of unilevel payout with no money to CV reduction. Those 8 levels are 4%. And then the leveraged matching bonus. The check match is paid on all compensation plan components. I've never seen this before either. I've always seen check match only being paid on team commissions. If you earn a direct, if a direct sales commission is earned, you get a check match on that. If a team commission is earned, you get a check match on that. And of course, of tremendous support. Oh my gosh, they left out the infinity bonus here. Yeah, they left out the infinity bonus. I'm sorry. There is likewise a 4 points. I will talk with them and get that added to the slide. There is a 4-point infinity bonus that attaches at the bottom of the unilevel and pays indefinitely until such time as it intersects someone with your same compensation plan qualification. That is a brief framework of the Lev AI compensation plan. And I am so thrilled to tell you that it is now locked. That happened today. And that on Monday, Blake will be on the session with me, and Blake on both the noon Eastern time and as well on the 9 p.m. Eastern time Monday. Blake will be here and he will describe the compensation plan in its locked format. Now, a couple of things that are critically important to me, and I'm going to call upon a couple of my counterparts and peers here. I'm careful whenever I talk about my own results because they don't matter. What matters is your results. But I do want to describe a little bit about my experience. My organizations, not the companies I've been involved with, my organizations, my enrollment trees have done more than 5 billion US dollars in sales. People in my groups have been paid $2.7 billion in commissions. I had 29 consecutive years where I earned over $1 million in network marketing or direct sales commissions. The reason I say that is to simply illustrate to you that, like whatever you know, the absolute very, very best, wherever your highest and strongest and greatest bank of knowledge resides, that is the way that I know and understand what it takes to create distribution and therefore earn royalties on for a long-term basis on a very, very high scale. I understand exactly what the elements are that are required for success. A product or service that matters to people. The lid has come off here, folks. This matters to more people than anything you've ever seen or talked about. A company that can execute. Thank God we operate in the ecosystem of Terry LaCour. And notwithstanding the fact that it is a startup, bottom left-hand corner of the graph with all the opportunity associated with that, we don't suffer the risks that are typically a part and parcel of that because we are part of that ecosystem. Timing that is clear, that is obvious, that is beyond refute. Folks, if there's ever been one time in your life when you said, I am going to pull out the stops and I'm going to do it big, why? Because an entire societal and cultural shift is happening. It's happening, and it's happening whether or not I do it. Don't ever struggle to make something happen again. That's a failing proposition. Instead, identify those things which are destined to occur and then become a catalyst in causing that which was destined to occur just a little bit more quickly. Folks, the transition from a 7% AI adoption in the United States to a 60, 70, 80, or 90% AI adoption among firms, that process has begun. You couldn't stop it if you tried. I couldn't stop it if you tried. Let us then become a catalyst that causes that which was destined to occur a little more quickly. Fourth element is a compensation plan which provokes correct behaviors and rewards them. This will pay you like nothing you've done before in the direct selling industry. That's not something I think, it's something I know, to the extent that you become willing to do those few things that would grant you access to the plan. And next is training and support. Folks, to that, we seek you. You are invited here because someone believes one of two things or both. Someone believes that you have talents and skills and capabilities that would make our company a better company, and therefore you are invited to the benefit of the company. And someone believes that the unique offerings of this company tied to your skills can benefit you in profound ways. You're invited here for those two reasons. And the final element required for success is the proper construction of a leadership hierarchy, which is so edifying, so welcoming, and so inviting that no one would ever consider leaving it. Let us do that together. I'm going to call upon a couple of people who have had profound background and success in the direct selling industry and in life. One of them's name is Larry Lane. Larry has been around this industry. Just anybody who knows Larry, you can't even say Larry's name without smiling. One of the great, great guys, company owner, business builder. Larry, fill in the blanks, clean up any mess I made.
Hey, Randy, absolutely. And I think I heard about this maybe 4 days ago. I got on a Zoom, and you just mentioned there's so many people on the Zoom. I've seen them that are company owners. I'm a company owner. You're always looking for stuff that will help your business grow, help your sales grow, help your affiliates. That's what I jumped on for. I was absolutely blown away. I saw the AI technology. I always joke with my identical twin because we're the original AI because we've done everything. I've given him speeding tickets. I took his algebra exams in school. We've already done it. But now we say leverage. There's going to be four of us, which is really cool. So we're going to do our own marketing campaign. But yeah, this is super, super exciting. Great technology. There's a lot of people that are out there looking for this, and it's a marketing tool. Think about anybody that has a brick and mortar business. If they have a network marketing company, products, this is marketing. For $49 to be able to start your package, have the AI twin, which Randy just said speaks 150 languages. Maybe you want to open your business in some Spanish markets. Great. Load it up with Spanish. Maybe you want to open the business over in Germany. You'll be able to do that. But I want to tell one very, very serious story. The other night, one of the networkers that I've worked with for many decades, and he's got an illness, and slowly through the years, it's completely taken his voice. And I did not even think about it. But the other night, he wrote me, I was sitting here on my couch, he wrote me, Larry, I just want to thank you for sharing this with me because this is literally going to give me my voice back. And he heard Randy say on the Zoom, you can load in videos from the past. That's going to pick up his audio, how he used to sound. Not only is he going to be able to speak in every other language, but he's going to get his English language back. And that is going to build his network marketing. He signed up over 30 people already. He's on a go. I've got people right now. I don't want people to wait. I've got somebody on the Zoom right now from Australia. I've got people in South Africa. I've got people in Canada. This is global. This is technology. Don't just think United States. This is literally anywhere someone needs an avatar. Because my person over in Germany, they want to be able to speak in other languages too. It's not just English people. So very exciting. You've got a free link right now for the next couple of weeks. What you don't want to happen is when you finally see, wow, they pulled it off, you don't want to be the only one in your organization, because what's going to happen when you go out to Judy, because she's a big networker, Judy's going to tell you, hey, I got in 5 days ago. Then you go to Bob. Bob got in 3 days ago because somebody got to him first. So get the free link out. Again, a company that lets you come in for free. You're going to hear, oh, it might be a scam. If they're letting you look at it for free, that means they have to deliver. When they deliver, that's when you make the decision to upgrade. So you can't scam free. So I'm absolutely loving everything about this. Randy, Blake, I know Terry personally. Terry is one incredibly successful person. I'll tell you right now, Terry LaCour does not have to do this business. He's that successful. He's doing it because he knows what we're doing can change the world. Absolutely. Randy, back to you, buddy.
Larry, thank you. Before you go, results, results, results. And what one has accomplished does not mean someone else can, but if one has, that means it's possible. So 4 days ago, 5 days ago, you said yes to this idea. And I know you, Larry, you work. I mean, you work. But how many people do you have in your group after 4 or 5 days?
I have 110 personals and 1,100 people in my team. Person in
Okay.
my
And
group.
so, and you're really good, Larry. I know that. You're really good and you work hard. But how many times before in your life have you had 110 personals and over 1,000 on your team in less than a week? How many times has that happened before?
Not that quick. And that tells everybody this is something new, it's hot, and people look, they're looking for something new, something to help them build. So Randy, it's exciting. That's why it's growing so fast.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Larry. Scotty
Thank you.
Cupis, I'm going to call upon you. Just chime in here, turn on your video, and just a little more, Scott. Tell us what's happening. Scott is likewise big, big, big success in the industry, has done it all. And Scott was looking for this when he found it. So, Scott, chime in.
Yeah, I couldn't be more excited. I mean, honestly, I've been playing with a variety of things on AI for the last 6 months. I was challenging my son, who's 22 years old, to get heavily into AI and commit to it for the next 10 years. I'm like, look, son, if you just do this for the next 2 to 3 years, you could have, legacy wealth at a very, very young age. It's just that profound. In my entire life, 40 years in direct selling, there's only been a couple of really big catalyst sort of opportunities and seasons, if you will. And certainly the personal computer was one of them. There's no question. Cellular phones was quite a big deal. The internet is obviously been very, very profound, but knowledge, sort of strokes all of that. If you look at it, like everybody wants to know a little more. If people know a little more, they're more efficient. Everybody wants to be more efficient. If you're more efficient, you make more money, you can create more happiness, you have more time. I mean, the entire world's looking for that. And what's interesting is AI is so big and growing so fast. You see the world's, I mean, we're on the edge of the curve, but what's interesting is the world's largest companies, the largest CEOs, the most successful people, the wealthiest people, every major public company on earth is trying to instill AI in all processes any way possible to actually grow at a higher pace and be more efficient. Everyone. So this isn't something that people are like curious about. I mean, it's the most talked about thing on earth. When 700 million people, every single week go on Chat GPT just to be curious, more people went on Chat GPT last week than all the people that have cryptocurrency on the entire planet. So you look at cryptocurrency over the last decade, which is very significant in terms of monetary transition, more people in a shorter period of time on a weekly basis are involving themselves in AI in some capacity. And what's uniquely different about what we're doing and why I'm here is it's really fragmented. And if you're out there today and you played with it, you can go on Leonardo, or you can go on Claude AI, or you can go on HeyGen and create, images. You can go create songs. There's hundreds of unique niches in AI, but there isn't a company that's focused on a solopreneur, an entrepreneur, a home business professional. And the advantage we have And especially if you look at Terry LaCour, I've known Terry now for 30 plus years. One of the most extraordinary people in direct selling history with the backbone of what we have here. But when you look at all the experience all of us have just on this call today, the experience that so many people have, a company that focuses on direct sales professionals, on sales professionals, on home business professionals, on content creators. There are tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people playing online right now that need efficiency. And then for $50 or $100 or $150, they can double their own output. And it's not like they're doubling, like, I think it's a phenomenal we get a twin. But I don't think people fully understand what the twin does, because when you put your head down tonight on your pillow, the twin keeps working for you. Like, it's actually online answering questions, it's providing things. When we have sales funnels, I mean, Russell Brunson has a multi-billion-dollar company with ClickFunnels, creating funnels to help people sell things. And that's just added in our package. When we have CRM systems to help people answer questions, when we can do it in multiple languages, when we can build a website in 5 and 10 minutes. I mean, there's tens of millions of people who would love to have a website, and we can show them how to integrate that and make that happen for them the very first day and publish something. They're going to feel a sense of joy. And the one thing I love about our industry is success. When someone tries a product or a service and it works, they're so excited, they're elated. They want to share something when something enthusiastically works for them. And our product service is also our system. Like, there are so many professionals on this line right now across the world that we're always like, well, what's the system? Like, what's the daily method of operation? Like, how do we explain this? How do we get this product into someone's hands? Well, guess what? Our product service is our system. It actually is coaching us through the applications. It's coaching us through what to do. It can put it in a logical order. It doesn't have to worry about 100 different AIs. It can take a half a dozen or a dozen concepts and put it in a logical order that you literally have a business that makes money for you, and your business is actually growing before your eyes. And so, man, I'm so excited about how big this can be, because when you look at marketplaces, and there's 6 billion people online, let's say, out of the 8 billion on a consistent basis, there's never been a product or service that has a wider probably application when it comes to what people are most interested in right now. And so the entire planet is leaning in. They're looking for solutions. We have the most affordable, cost-effective, simple solution anybody could look for, and our timing is impeccable. And so, yeah, I'm really excited. We have the right management team. We're funded properly. We have a backbone. We have vision. We're all hardworking people, and we want to make a difference. And I just believe the market's going to be so receptive to what we're doing. So we're definitely leveraging AI. And I want to leave it with this. I just think it's like you're creating your better tomorrow today. So you don't have to worry about, like, we have a vision for tomorrow. Your better vision for tomorrow is today. You can apply it today, and we have that available at Lev AI.
Scott, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Larry, thank you. And thanks all of you for being here. If anyone has not yet completed the online enrollment form, please notify the person who invited you here that you would like to receive it. And by the way, I never like to talk again about my own results. They don't matter. And this is our results. This is what we have done, certainly not what I've done. But today is day 6, folks. Today is day 6. And we just went over 2,100 people in our organization, 2,100 people in 6 days. I've experienced a lot in this industry. I've not experienced that. I want you all to know that the countdown to the launch is going to be a shorter countdown than you're expecting. It's going to be shorter, not longer. And then I ask you all to just ask yourselves this: are you one who is acting upon this moment of profound opportunity? I have multiple people who've enrolled 50 people, 60 people, 70 people. I have 2 who've enrolled over 100 people in a handful of days. And I have countless who've enrolled 1 or they've enrolled none, and they're sitting by watching. Folks, you are allowing the most magical moments that you may ever see in your life to slide by. There is that simple little, you get a chance to check it out. What Larry said, that it is free today. It is a gift. Not going to be very many more days that way. You can gather people together more quickly today than you can tomorrow. Now, yes, it will get easier when people see the twin, but when they see the twin, to register at that moment, it's going to be incredible. And it's going to cost a little bit of money. Not much. It's going to cost $49, or it's going to cost $79, or it's going to cost $149. It's going to cost a little bit of money. It is easier to say yes when there's no financial obligation tied to that. Yes. Don't let any of these days go by like sands through the hourglass. There go the moments of opportunity in what will be a very, very short, something less than 4 week total pre-launch period. Notice I said something less than 4 week total pre-launch period, and we are through 1 week of it now. If you are not yet on the WhatsApp group, please send me a text. Do not call me, but send me a text. My phone number is 813-990-7651. I will send you a link to get connected to the WhatsApp group so you don't ever miss anything. And if you've not yet completed your online registration, please, 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 for you, not for me, do it now. Tomorrow at noon Eastern time, we will do a business presentation. And tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern time, we'll do a business presentation. I will try to get a management group, a management person with me. I'm not sure what Blake's schedule is going to be. I'll see if that's possible tomorrow. And Monday for sure. The comp plan is locked and on we go. Folks, I've rambled. I've taken all of your time. Thank you for being here. I just wish I could snap my fingers because you know, like me, you can't call this back, folks. You can't call it back. This is a moment to act. Act now. Act with energy. Act. Think of the biggest dream, the biggest goal, the biggest help you want to be to somebody else. Realize you got a moment of time right now where perhaps you can accomplish something more in a few days that I might be able to accomplish in a year later down the road. God bless everybody. I'm your biggest advocate. I know you can, whether or not you do. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.